one guy that I want to ask you about is Bill Fralic, college football Hall of Famer, was an All-Pro in the NFL, but man, he was something.
So I remember they brought him in when he was a senior in high school on his recruiting trip, and Jackie Sherrill walked him up in front. We had spring ball, and Jackie Sherrill introduced us to him, that he had signed a letter of commitment to Pittsburgh, and I looked at him, and he's a senior in high school, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm never going to play here. Right? He was a full-grown man. He looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger, is what he looked like. And I was like, I'm in the weight room trying to get, put on pounds and grow and get stronger. And this is a full-grown man that is coming in. He was a senior. And I'm like, gosh, I'm never going to play here. But that was some of the stuff that just drove me. And Jackie Sherrill, he had a lot to do with it too. I mean, he did this thing at the end of practice every day, at the beginning of practice every day, at the end of stretching. The whole team circled up, and it was best out of three. And offensive linemen and defensive linemen, they're going to go against each other. And whoever wins 2 out of the 3, the other team has to run after practice, right? My freshman year, he called me into the ring every single day to go against Jimbo, Mark May, Russ. I mean, every single day. I thought he wanted my scholarship back. I thought he wanted to try to run me off. I'm not kidding. I thought this guy doesn't want me here. Every single day. So we had to walk up this hill. It was called Cardiac Hill because it goes right past the hospital to the top of the stadium. And I walked up there every day from my dorm room thinking, oh, God, I don't want to do this again. I got to go against these guys again, and I'm going to lose, and defense is going to be mad at me, and we're going to have to run after practice. And then, one day it just hit, and I didn't lose after that.
How great is that?
Yeah. Well, and even better is, Jackie still – he kept in contact with me all through my NFL career and to this day. Before every season, he sent me a telegram when that's all you could do, or later on, he called me, and he'd say the same thing. He'd say, Maas, son, give it your best, and if that ain't good enough, piss on him. And that was just him. That was just him. And he stays in touch with me to this day, like Facebook Messenger or text me, or an amazing guy because, he coached at a lot of different places and he had a lot of great players. And I know I'm not the only one he's done that with.
That speaks volumes about Coach Sherrill and what you meant to him as a player.
Yeah, we were at something last year back at Pitt, an event, and we were talking, and I asked him, how do you do this? Why do you keep in touch? Why? And it must have come from, he played under, he was one of the 13 that played under Bear Bryant, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, it was my job to make you mean and angry. And I have a responsibility for that too. And, here I am, 56, 57 years old at that time, and he's telling me something I never even thought about before. And just the fact that it was his job. He wanted to win. He needed angry defenders, right? So, yeah, I thought that was. I thought that was responsibility at its highest level, and I also it was eye-opening, kind of. I get it,
You look at coaching nowadays
in
college.
Can't do that.
And it's, give the kids love and all this kind of stuff. You might not have thought it at the time, giving you love, but that was how he was getting you prepared, and it's his job to win, and he's preparing you for life. And nowadays, it's just a different mindset, mentality all the way across the board. And this old school coaching, man, there's a reason why you guys were successful.
Yeah, there'd probably be lawsuits in today's day and age if those things occurred. But at the same time, I think when a coach stops yelling at you is when they're done with you. They see something that they know you can do that you don't know you can do. And I think that translates well through life and with your children, and you see stuff that they could do, and you see who they can be. You just have to make them understand that. Look, there's a reason shock collars work on dogs, right? There's a reason they work. But I think it's interesting that when they stop calling your name or challenging you, that's when they're done. That's when they said, like, I can't get through this person. I'm just going to move on to the next. And that's when you worry. You mentioned that with that hard coaching nowadays, it would be lawsuits. That's why they've got that transfer portal nowadays where, whenever it seems like things are getting tough and you got to compete, kids are transferring out and going somewhere else. It's an interesting shift in culture. Yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate too, because kids think, I've heard this so many times, the coach doesn't like me. No, you're missing it. You're completely missing it. Not the coach doesn't like you. The coach wants more from you. And if you're looking for an avenue to escape what they're trying to tell you, that's why they're yelling at you. Because they know you're lazy and you're going to look for an easy way out. And there's look, it wants the Michael Jordan series on the last one. There is no easy. There's no easy way. You got to work.